Hello friends, welcome back to lesson number 2. Um, in this lesson, we would basically be looking at the first few, steps and screens, just to make you familiar with how Xcode, etc. would look like. Once you've downloaded Xcode, most probably it would be on your hard drive under the developer tool, unless you've created aliases and put them in the applications folder. So what I've done is I've basically moved them into the applications folder, which is why when I open the applications folder and I click on developer, I see all the applications that I would be requiring to make the iPhone and iPad applications in my applications folder. So basically, you would see that the most important one would be Xcode, which would look like this. I'm going to close this for now. So let's have a look again. The Xcode would look like this. Since we've downloaded the free version, it's not the Xcode 4 which you get when you pay $99 a year. Since this is the free version, you would see that it does not have all the features of the Xcode 4. However, you would notice that there's create a new project button. So when you click, you start basically creating a new project. Then there's getting started with Xcode. It has tutorials, guides, etc. to help you get started. And then there's this Apple developer connection, which we're going to talk about later. So let's close this for now. We'll come back to it again. Let's have a look at other tools. The other one is Dashcode, which would look like this. I'm not going to confuse you now with what to do with the Dashcode, etc. We're going to close this as well. And then we've got interface builder, which is an important tool because it helps you build how your app would look and how people would interact with your application on their iPhones or iPads. So this is how it would look. We're going to come back to this as well in a later stage. At a later stage. For now, we would focus more on Xcode. Now, when you open Xcode, it would basically give you the option of creating a new Xcode project. So we will click on the Xcode project, and it comes up with a window like this. We have several choices here. Please remember, this is not a tutorial for Mac OS development, application development. So we're going to ignore this part and only focus on the top bit, which is application library. And sometimes we may use other, but not now. So initially we would only focus on the top bit which is for iOS, which basically relates to iPad and iPhone and iPod Touch applications. Now, under the applications tab, you would see there are several small icons, for different type of templates. Now, as you can see, it says choose a template for your new project. Apple by itself provides a lot of templates, to help starting developers to find it easy to start developing applications. So what they do is they basically put in some templates so that you can get started and then build your application and improvise gradually as you move ahead. The first one you would see is navigation-based application. You would have a small description about each of these at the bottom. So if I read that through to you, this template provides a starting point for an application that uses a navigation controller. It provides a user interface configured with a navigation controller to display a list of items. Now, some of you may find this description suitable. The others may not understand anything from the description. So what I would do is I'll try and explain these templates one by one to you. The navigation-based application is a very simple one to understand. Maybe I can take the example of your contact book on your iPhone or maybe on your iPad. What happens is when you click on the contacts, you would see a list of all your contacts, one after the other. And when you click on any of your contacts, it takes you to a much deeper level of information. So it tells you more about their phone number, address, email, ID, etc., etc. That's navigation based. You basically have a list, and on the list, on the top of the list, you have a back button or a forward button. You can go back, you can go forward, you can click on the item and go into a second level of information. So the easiest example is the contract or the address book on your phone. OpenGLES applications. Now, if you read the description, it says starting point of an application that uses OpenGLES based view. It provides a view too much into which you render your OpenGLES scene and a timer to allow you to animate the view. Now, this kind of application is not a very user-friendly application to start with initially, but once we've developed a couple of applications, we're going to come back to OpenGLES applications. I will explain about GLES later on, because I don't want to confuse you at this point of time, and don't want you to think that it's a rocket science to build an iPhone or iPad application. The split view based application is majorly for the iPad, and like the name says, you would have split views of an application. Within one sort of application, you would have different choices which are kind of framed into different split frames or split windows. As you read on the description, it says it is ideal for an application that uses a split view controller. It provides a user interface configured with a split view controller and two view controllers to manage a master detail style display. More relevantly, maybe a sort of shopping application, maybe relevant to this one, wherein you can have split views. Say for example, if there's an application that tells you details about cars, then the split view controller can have views based on the performance, the mileage, the technology, the safety, etc., etc. And when people click on each of these frames, they can see details related to the particular tab they select. Now, tab bar application. This is very common. If you've used an iPhone, you would see at the bottom they have 4 or 5 icons, which are very common. Mostly the most common applications that they use at the bottom, and the list of other applications on the screen. This is something similar to that. When you click any of the icons or the features at the bottom, the display on the top of the iPhone or the iPad will change accordingly. Most of the applications come with a sort of tab at the bottom, which allows you to select properties or features or levels or menus within that application. Utility application is again, it's best not to touch this initially, but we're going to come back to it. It's not a rocket science. We're going to come back to it, but again, utility based application is basically for using the GPS or other kind of utilities like the weather, maybe the weather application or the world clock that uses different locations, etc. View-based application is the most common one, where anything that you see on your screen you can touch and go into a deeper level of information. And as the description says, it's an application that's ideal for a single view. It provides view controller to manage the view and a nib file that contains the view. Now, I'll tell you in the next tutorials what's a nib file, but as of now, let's just assume of this as a kind of storyboard, where you see the story on a picture sort of display, and when you click on the once you've seen the picture, you click on the next one. Maybe the best example is the photo gallery, where you have the view and then you just slide it to the next picture. So that's probably a relevant example to a view-based application. Window-based application is again, it is also one of the most popular and the most, I would say, the easiest, application to build initially. All applications actually have windows. They're mostly window-based, because whatever you do pops up a window, which is displayed either on the top of the screen or probably cover the full screen, etc. So, according to me, I think about 80% of the apps are mostly window-based apps. unless there are some sort of specific apps that do not want to use window-based application at all. So this is it about the applications. In the library, you would see that there's a Cocoa Touch static library, which has a lot of other application codes and templates built into it. But then we're gonna come back to it one at a time. As of now, I just wanted to show you how the interface looks like and what these small icons were. So what we would do is we would, in the next lesson, go ahead and learn how to do our first window-based application. Thanks for watching the video, and if you like the videos, if you like the tutorials, please encourage me by subscribing to the channel. Thank you very much.